Officer Marcus Hale had pulled over hundreds of drivers during his 12 years on the Atlanta Police Department. Most stops ended the same way: a warning, a ticket, a few minutes of inconvenience. Then everyone went home. But at 11:47 on a rainy Thursday night, Marcus Hale opened the trunk of a silver sedan and immediately stepped backward, because what he saw inside was not what he expected, not even close. 3 hours earlier, the rain had started just after 9. By 10:30, visibility had dropped across several parts of the city. Officer Marcus Hale was finishing what he expected to be a routine shift. 12 years on the force had taught him something important. People behaved differently when they believed nobody was watching, and sometimes the smallest detail was the one that mattered most. Marcus drove slowly through the rain. His patrol radio crackled. Dispatch. Unit 214. Possible traffic violation near exit 19. Marcus looked ahead. A silver sedan was drifting slightly within its lane. Then the driver suddenly braked. Marcus activated his lights. The sedan pulled over. Marcus approached the driver's window. The driver lowered it halfway. A man in his early 30s, clean-cut, well-dressed, calm. Too calm. "Good evening, sir." "Good evening, officer. Do you know why I pulled you over?" The driver looked at Marcus, then smiled. "No, sir." Marcus glanced toward the rear of the vehicle. "Your left taillight is out." The driver looked surprised. "Really?" "Yes." Marcus asked for his license and registration. The driver handed them over. His name was Ethan Cole. Marcus returned to his cruiser. He ran the information. No outstanding warrants. No criminal history. Everything appeared clean. But Marcus noticed something. Ethan had been driving a car registered to someone else. Marcus returned. "Mr. Cole, is this your vehicle?" Ethan hesitated. "No." "Who does it belong to?" "My uncle." "What's your uncle's name?" Ethan answered. Marcus looked at the registration. The name didn't match. Marcus paused. "That's not the name on the registration." Ethan's expression changed, only slightly, but Marcus noticed. "Officer, I can explain." Marcus stepped closer. "Then explain." Ethan looked toward the back seat. There was nothing there. Marcus walked around the vehicle. Then he noticed the trunk. It was slightly wet around the edges, as if someone had recently opened it. Marcus returned to the driver. "What's in your trunk?" Ethan immediately answered. "Nothing." Marcus stared at him, then said, "Then you won't mind opening it." Ethan's expression changed. "Do you have a warrant?" Marcus didn't answer immediately. The rain continued falling. Marcus Hale knew the law. He also knew that suspicion wasn't the same thing as evidence. He couldn't simply open someone's trunk because he had a feeling, so he stepped back. "Mr. Cole, I'm going to ask you one more time." Ethan stared at him. "Is there anything in that trunk that I need to know about?" Silence. Then Ethan whispered, "Yes." Marcus's hand moved toward his radio. Ethan quickly added, "But it's not what you think." Marcus looked at him. "Then tell me what it is." Ethan didn't answer. Instead, he stepped out of the car and slowly walked toward the trunk. Marcus followed. Ethan inserted the key. The lock clicked. The trunk opened. Marcus looked inside, then stopped. His entire expression changed. Inside the trunk was a large black suitcase. Beside it was a child's backpack. And on top of the backpack, a photograph. Marcus picked it up. It showed a little girl, maybe 8 years old, smiling beside a birthday cake. Marcus looked at Ethan. "Who's this?" Ethan's eyes filled with tears. "My daughter." Marcus looked back at the photograph, then at the suitcase. "Where is she?" Ethan didn't answer. Marcus's voice became firm. "Mr. Cole, where is your daughter?" Ethan finally whispered. "She's missing." Marcus immediately called for backup. Ethan raised his hands. "Wait." Marcus stared at him. "What do you mean she's missing?" Ethan looked towards the empty highway. "She's been missing for 6 days." Marcus froze. "Why didn't you report her missing?" Ethan shook his head. "I did." "Where?" "Atlanta police." Marcus's expression changed. "What's her name?" Ethan answered. "Amelia Cole." Marcus immediately contacted dispatch. "Dispatch, run a missing juvenile report. Amelia Cole, 8 years old, static." Then, "Unit 214, confirm the name." Marcus repeated it. A long pause. Then dispatch responded, "Negative. No missing juvenile matching that name." Marcus looked at Ethan. Ethan whispered, "That's impossible." Marcus looked at Ethan. "Where did you report her missing?" Ethan hesitated. "At the station." "Which station?" Ethan named one. Marcus knew the station. "Who took the report?" "I don't remember." Marcus stared. "Mr. Cole, this is important." Ethan looked down, then said, "A detective. Name." Ethan closed his eyes. "I don't know." Marcus became suspicious. "You're telling me your 8-year-old daughter has been missing for 6 days? And you don't know the name of the detective who took your report?" Ethan's voice broke. "He told me not to tell anyone." Marcus stepped closer. "Who told you?" Ethan looked at him. "The man who took her." Marcus immediately stepped away. "Who took your daughter?" Ethan pointed toward the suitcase. Marcus looked at it. "What's inside?" Ethan shook his head. "I can't." Marcus called for backup. Within minutes, another patrol vehicle arrived. The officers secured the area. The suitcase was opened. Inside were documents, photographs, a notebook, and a police badge. Marcus picked up the badge. His face went pale. It belonged to an Atlanta police detective. Detective James Walker. Marcus knew the name. Everyone in the department did. Walker had retired 6 months earlier, but the badge was real. Marcus opened the notebook. Inside were dates, times, locations, names. One name appeared repeatedly, Amelia Cole. Marcus looked at Ethan. "What's this?" Ethan said, "I don't know." Marcus flipped another page, then stopped. At the bottom was a handwritten sentence. "If anything happens to me, find Officer Marcus Hale." Marcus stared at the words. His own name, his own badge number, his own department. He looked at Ethan. "How did your daughter know my name?" Ethan shook his head. "She didn't." Marcus's expression changed. "Then who wrote this?" Ethan whispered, "My daughter." Marcus Hale had started the night believing he was stopping a driver with a broken taillight. He now knew he was standing in the middle of something much larger. A missing child, a retired detective, a police badge, and a notebook that somehow contained his name. But there was still one question. Where was Amelia? Marcus turned to Ethan. "Where was the last place you saw your daughter?" Ethan pointed toward the highway. "Here." Marcus looked around. "Here? 6 days ago. What happened?" Ethan's voice dropped. "She disappeared from my car." Marcus stared. "While you were driving?" "No." "Then where were you?" Ethan looked at the ground. "I was in the trunk." Marcus froze. Ethan continued. "Someone had locked me inside." Marcus finally understood. Ethan hadn't been transporting his daughter's belongings. He had been searching for her. The suitcase, the notebook, the badge, they were clues, not evidence of a crime. but evidence of a desperate father trying to solve one. Then Marcus noticed something: the child's backpack. There was a small piece of paper sticking out of the side pocket. He pulled it free. 3 words were written on it: "Trust Officer Marcus." Marcus looked up. His face was pale, because suddenly, the traffic stop didn't feel accidental. Someone had sent Ethan to find him, and whoever that person was, knew exactly where Marcus would be.
The investigation that followed lasted 6 weeks. Marcus discovered that Detective James Walker had been investigating an internal corruption case before his retirement. Amelia had accidentally witnessed something she was never supposed to see. Her father had been targeted, and the people responsible had tried to make the family disappear from the record. But Amelia was alive. She had been taken to a remote property outside Atlanta, and after a careful investigation, she was found. The truth finally came to light. The missing records were recovered, the corrupt officials were arrested, and the retired detective who had started the investigation finally returned to testify. Months later, Marcus received a letter. It was from Amelia. Inside was a drawing, a police car, a rainy road, and a man standing beside an open trunk. At the bottom, she had written, "Thank you for opening the trunk." Officer Marcus Hale thought he was stopping a driver for a broken taillight. Instead, he discovered a mystery that had been hidden for 6 days. And sometimes, the smallest traffic stop can lead to the biggest truth. Now it's your turn. If you were Officer Hale, would you have trusted Ethan's story? Or would you have arrested him before hearing the full truth? Tell us your verdict in the comments, and if you enjoy cinematic stories filled with mystery, suspense, unexpected twists, and questions about justice, subscribe to Verdict Horizon, because here, every story reveals the truth.